Up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to review Plane. Let's see if I liked it, didn't like it. Let's get into it.
You're gonna need this.
Former military or something?
You could say that.
Alright, so Plane is directed by Jean Francis Richet, and it follows the story of a pilot finds himself caught in a war zone after he's forced to land his commercial aircraft during a terrible storm. So that's basically the simple synopsis of the story, or the most complex synopsis. This movie is so simple, it's not complex at all. That's all I gotta say. It's a January movie. This, unlike Megan, is a true January movie. It's pretty okay, pretty decent. I think my first thing I want to say about it is that the R rating in this movie saved the film, because there was a decent amount of gore and blood during the kills. The kills were pretty good, and if it didn't have a R rating, it wouldn't have been that good in my opinion. And I think that the first 30 minutes of this movie were painfully slow. This isn't a spoiler, but the first 30 minutes are when they're on the actual plane before they get into the bad waters of the movie. And I think it's just so painfully slow. Some of the shots and CGI of the outside of the plane are really bad. But I think the first 30 minutes of on the plane is just to have the movie Plane called Plane so they can be on the plane for the first 30 minutes. But I think that's really slow. Although I think the rest was actually pretty decent. And it's a pretty fun popcorn flick once it gets to that second half, and where we do introduce the villain and Mike Colter and Gerard Butler get to team up and do some killing. And I think the action in it in the second half and the kills were pretty awesome to witness. I had some cool reactions in my theater when I saw it. I wasn't expecting them to go where they went in the second half, but it was pretty fun in the second half, even though the first half was pretty boring. Gerard Butler is pretty good in the film. Nothing very special. It's not going to give him any Oscar nominations, I can tell you that. But it's pretty good performance across the board. I did like his performance here better than the Olympus Has Fallen movies. Those movies I didn't really click with or vibe with, but this movie I had a decent time. And then Mike Colter, who played Luke Cage in the Luke Cage show and Defender show for Netflix, I think he's great here. His performance is very subtle and quiet towards the beginning and middle, but by the end it's very well done. You can see that he put a decent amount of work into it. And not getting into any spoilers here, it's kind of hard to talk about it because there's not really much to talk about in the movie. The ending kind of didn't answer a question of what happened to Mike Colter's character. It's not a spoiler, but the ending really just focused on Mike Colter's. It focused on Gerard Butler's character the most, and I want to see more in the ending. I think the last 30 minutes of the film were where it started to peak. The first 30 minutes, I think I was about to give it like a 1 out of 5. But the middle started to pick up, and the last 30 minutes were really good. And some of the people in this film's acting is kind of cringy. If you are kind of cringed out by extras who are acting kind of weird. But we got Mike Colter here and Gerard Butler. They kind of carry the movie and save the whole performance issues of the movie for me. But overall, I thought it was a decent movie. Nothing too great. It's a January movie. First 30 minutes are slow. Rest is a fun time. So if you want to see it, go see it. I think I'm going to go give it a 3 out of 5 for a 6 out of 10. I think it's pretty decent. It's a popcorn film. So that's my review of Plane. The next review I'm going to have is The Last of Us. I'm very excited for that. I'll see you guys on that review. See you later.